everyone. Welcome. We're going to go ahead and get started. Who's ready to learn about how to find money for college? If you're excited to be here, just let me know you're here. Type I am in the chat box. Let me know you're here. Let me know you're excited. I know some people are calling in and they're unable to type in the chat box, but that is okay. I hope you are ready. Try to capture. Hey, Aisha, Kimberly, welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes. All right, so you're gonna need something to write with, and of course, you're gonna need something to write in. I encourage you to get something you're not gonna lose, something that you can always refer back to. This may be a great opportunity. One of the things I always teach my clients is to create a college readiness binder. That way you can keep everything in that one binder. So this may be a great opportunity to do just that. And that way your notes will always be there. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Welcome to Finding Scholarships for College with yours truly, your College for Free coach, Tamika Williamson. It is such an honor to be with you all this evening. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to share with you the wisdom and the insights I have around college scholarships. Now, we're going to connect this to my ebook, which is an expansion of the College for Free book itself. I had many families coming to me asking, how do I find scholarships? And I was like, well, hey, you guys, Google really is a great source. Google should be your best friend. But it led me to see this is truly an issue. People don't know how to find scholarships. So I created the ebook, 5 Steps for Finding College Scholarships. You all should have received a link to this ebook. Now, after creating the ebook, I also discovered, although I gave them the information, walked them through it step by step, gave examples, people were still struggling. The other side of that struggle is the thing that we need most that we don't have a lot of is time. Time is one of the biggest commodities. Once it's gone, you can't get it back. But a lot of families don't have the time to find scholarships because it really does take a lot of time. It takes some serious commitment in order to yield the results that you're looking for. So we have a solution for you on that. But let's go ahead and get to the material. All right, so let's talk about how do we find scholarships for college? Now, I know there are some people on the line who follow me, who's familiar with some of the things I do. I kind of work in a couple of areas. Everything falls under developing leaders, young and old. And part of my youth leadership development programs is where we deal with the college and career readiness side. And that's where we have the College for Free program. So we have the Parents Send Your Child to College book, workbook, which Amazon best-selling books. We also have other services built around that, some e-classes as well. We receive several different accolades, awards, recognition. And then I also have the privilege of being part of Forbes Coaches Council and being hosted or being recognized in other materials or other credible sources, that is. So I just share this to say, I'm not somebody who's just here just giving you a whole bunch of garbage. No, these are proven tactics that I've used with my clients over the years. And as a result of working with families, speaking with students, I've been able to help them send their kids to college for free. We've garnered around $3 million, and we're still counting, in terms of money that's been awarded to help them make this dream a reality. And I got 2 students this year. I got to work on this calendar on looking at how we're going to make both graduations, especially when both of them are opposite sides of the coast. One's on the West Coast, one's on the East Coast. But we're going to make it happen. So it can be done. It can happen, you guys. You just have to start early enough. You got to be willing to commit to the process, and you have to manage all of the moving pieces and the deadlines. So let me just tell you a little bit about our mission. So when we look at the College for Free platform, our mission is very simple. What we are looking to accomplish is to educate parents on the strategies and the pathways to making college a reality and empowering them to take intentional actions that yield funding and avoid student loans. This student loan game, you guys, is no joke. And our mission is to help as many families as possible to be able to send their kids to college without any student loan debt. Why is this so important? Well, it's important for me personally because I was a first generation college student, and my family didn't know, my parents didn't know how to support me in the endeavor, but they supported me. So, you know, we go back to scripture, you know, the lack of knowledge, people perish. So we didn't have the knowledge to send me to college for free. So I have student loans that I'm still paying on today, but we working on getting rid of it. But with my portfolio or what I had to bring to the table when I was a senior in high school, I could have gone to college for free. So we're going to talk about that. But the other side of it, especially now where we are at, this is a major crisis. The student loan debt crisis is a 1.5, is closer to 1.5 now, $1.5 trillion crisis. And what you see here is the starting line. Our students, when they graduate with student loan debt, they are starting behind the starting line. Whereas a student who graduates with no student loan, they are ahead of the student. They are ahead of the starting line because it gives them more freedom in terms of disposable income. So the other trend we're seeing with this crisis is not only are the students going in debt, you guys, we have families. That means you parents. There are parents going in debt for their kids. I see it over and over and over again. I had an old colleague reach out to me. She wanted to partner because her families were in debt and they didn't have the disposable income to invest in savings and to really contribute to their retirement. So it has really created a problem. And the other side of that, from the real estate market, many of the young kids coming out of college are not able to buy homes because they have enormous student loan debt. Now, more recently, to compound this issue and to make this that much more important and critical for us to start looking at now, how can we take steps, do things differently to make sure our kids are set up for the future, for a better future, is the fact that there are states, like I'm in the state of Georgia, and I believe they said there's about, I think it said 13, I'm not sure on the number, but I saw this morning. There are states who have laws in place that says people who default on their student loan can lose their jobs. Yes, you heard me, can lose their job. There was a story in Georgia this morning. She's a nurse. She has student loans. Her student loan payments, you guys, $1,700 a month. Yes, you heard me, $1,700 a month. Well, she's struggling to pay $1,700 a month, so she fell behind. She got a warning letter from the state of Georgia Board of Registered Nurses, or whatever that governing board is, saying that her license is at risk of being suspended. Well, guess what, you guys? If her license is suspended, she cannot practice nursing, means they have just taken away her livelihood. Now, it doesn't make sense because, like, you take away her livelihood, you're definitely not going to get any money, but that's the law that's in place. And there are other states with the same laws. So just imagine 1 million people went in default in 2016 alone. 2016 alone, 1 million people. So imagine if they lived in states that have this law in place. They could lose their jobs just because they haven't paid their student loans. So not only do you have to worry about Sally Mae garnishing your account via IRS or taking your income tax check because you hadn't paid student loans, but now you have the risk of losing your own livelihood, what you went to college to get a degree for. Y'all, this is serious business. It is very critical and it's very important. And we have to raise the awareness and we have to have this conversation a lot more. So that is why College for Free exists. Or that's why our platform has expanded, because we are trying to raise the alarm, get more families informed, and help them see how important and how critical it is to begin this process a lot sooner, to get informed, and to start taking intentional actions. So here is a map of just the financial aid process. There are many layers to the college admissions process. And with all those different layers, it yields a lot of different moving pieces and steps a family must take. Now, this is just a glimpse of why it's important for us to start the process early and not wait too late. So just imagine to yourselves, would you want to try to navigate this by yourself? Imagine the level of stress you will feel trying to navigate all of this when your child is a senior in high school. Now, again, I said this is just the financial aid piece. Multiply this by 5, 6, or 7. That gives you the entire college admissions process. Do you want to try to attack all these moving pieces at the last minute? No, you really don't. You're going to be truly stressed. And when we're stressed, we're not as productive as we could be. So we got to get informed, get educated. And again, we have to start the process start the process sooner. Timing is everything. I always say the time to be ready is not the time to get ready. So families, I hope you all are ready, because we're about to jump into the material. We're going to start out here with the basics, because the educator in me is to make sure you understand every element when we talk about finding scholarships. People think it's just as simple as, I'm going to go search the internet and I'm going to apply for some scholarships and voila. It really is not that simple. So the more you know, the more intentional you could be, which helps you to garner results. If you're just approaching it in a haphazard way with no strategy, with no technique, with no knowledge, then you're going to get anything. It's kind of like, if we aim for nothing, we'll land anywhere. No, we want to have a strategic approach and a target of what we're looking for so that we can measure whether or not we accomplish that or not. So that's what we're going to talk about. So basics. First off, there are 2 sources of scholarship funding. 2 sources. You have what's called private funding. Then you have what's called institutional funding. Private funding, institutional funding, 2 different sources of funding. So first up, let's talk about private funding. Every family needs to pursue private funding. When I say private funding, these are funds that comes from a private source, meaning it's governed by a private organization, an independent organization. Examples would include the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Coca-Cola Scholars Program, the Burger King Scholarship, the Microsoft Scholarship, your local credit unions, utility companies. Those are considered private funds. The money in terms of private funds is limitless. There's no limit to the amount of funds you can receive on the private side. It's based on how hard you are willing to work for it. That's your private funding. Now, when we talk about institutional funds are funds that comes from colleges and universities. That money is designated by that college and university. They determine the parameters around it. And all money that's awarded by colleges and universities are governed by the standards set by the government via the FAFSA. So with that in mind, institutional funds do have a limit to it, okay? I go deeper into this in my financial aid course in helping parents understand the ins and outs of financial aid and what the numbers really mean. So institutional funds are governed and defined by the standards set by the government as a whole. So I hear families say they're looking for the school to cover 100% of their child's education. That is an unrealistic expectation. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, because it does. It is just dependent upon so many variables. And if all those variables don't align, then that reality is not going to come true. So institutional funds are limited, private funds are not. Now, the private funds is what we really have to work for in terms of getting that money, and that's where the rubber meets the road, and where families starts backing up and saying, or the kids start backing up saying, I don't like to write essays, and I don't want to do this, and I don't want to do that. So again, it goes back to my question, how bad do you want it? All right, so those are the two sources of funding. Now, within those two sources of funding, you guys, there are two types of scholarships that exist. We have what's called merit-based scholarships, and we have what's called need-based scholarship. So merit-based is based on the merit of your child or children. You know, what do they bring to the table? So this is where we're talking about their academics. We're talking about what they do in the community. We talk about their level of engagement in extracurricular activities. We're talking about their hobbies, their skills, their talents, the unique characteristics about them. That's what we're talking about when we say merit. When we say need, we're talking about the financial side of the puzzle. So basically, parents, how much money do you make? That is what's going to contribute or define what the need value is. So need is determined by the government based on what is provided in the FAFSA. So when you complete the FAFSA, it is going to define what your child's need number is. So going back to when I said institutional funds are limited, everything is tied to the need number. Everything is tied to the need number. So based on what that need number is, that basically tells the institution how much money your child needs for college. Now, if you are a middle-class family, or here's another way to measure this. If your child qualifies for free or reduced lunch, then there's a high probability they will qualify for need-based funding. If your child does not qualify for free or reduced lunch, then you're going to fall into the pool with most people. You're not going to qualify for need. So if you already know this, now you know which scholarships to target. If you know you're not going to qualify for need, then you know your intentional scholarship search needs to be focused on merit-based scholarships. Nothing that says need-based. And then it also sets the expectations of you knowing, okay, my child is not going to get a Pell Grant from the school. They are not going to qualify for any of the institution's need-based funds. So we have to look at how to fill in the gap through merit-based funding, okay? So that's what this foundational information helps you to determine. You need to know this so that way you're not wasting time pursuing the wrong pathways. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? Everybody with me? Type something in the chat box. Let me know. Okay, I got it. I'm following you. All right, awesome. Okay, so here are some myths, because trust me, you guys, the college business, there are some unscrupulous people out there. There are people telling a lot of untruths, and there are many reasons why they do. Some people do it because they're lazy. They just don't know the updated information. They don't want to help your child. And there are people giving out false truths as well because they're trying to take advantage of the situation and all those things. So again, it's very important for you to arm yourself with the information so that you don't become a victim of someone trying to take advantage of the situation, or someone who is just spewing bad information, you guys. So first myth, you have to be accepted to a college to apply for a scholarship. That is not true, okay? It's not true. You do not have to be accepted to a college, because if you think about the college admissions timeline, your child doesn't apply to college typically until they are a senior. Well, by that time, you should have already started the scholarship application process. So if you wait until your child starts applying for college, then you would have definitely missed the boat. So that is not true. You must be a U.S. citizen to apply for scholarships. That is not true as well. There are scholarships out there for students who are not U.S. citizens. So what you have to do when you're looking at scholarships, they always list what the qualifications are to apply for that scholarship. So you have to go through the qualifications to make sure your child meets what the qualifications are. Scholarships are only for top scholars or athletes. That is not true. We just talked about merit versus need. So that dispels that myth right there. There are scholarships available for all students, and I'll expound on that when we get into the actual steps. So that's not true. The scholarship process is a one-time thing. That is not true neither. This is an ongoing process. You must start the process early. And then there are some scholarships available for you to apply to multiple times. You also may have situations where your child may get awarded the scholarship and they say it's renewable, or you have the opportunity to apply for it again. So it's not necessarily a one-time thing. That does not apply to all scholarships, so that is not true. Now, here's a big one. Only high school juniors and seniors can apply for scholarships. Now, I'm telling you all this is a myth. So I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to put the answer in the chat box. When do you think students should start applying for scholarships? Let's see what you come up with. Okay. So I'm saying sophomore, I'm saying ninth grade, I'm saying junior. All right. At any age, but early as possible. Okay. All right, so at any age, but early as possible. I'm going to go with that one. Here's the thing, you guys. It really is at any age, because there are scholarships available really at every age level. We posted a scholarship, I want to say it was this week, and it was for students from grades 1 through 12. So the first graders could have applied for the scholarships. Now, there are probably a lot more third grade and up, but there are scholarships available as early as elementary school. So that's the point I want you to get. You want to start the process early because there's money available even as early as elementary school age. So that money becomes part of what you pull together to help pay for your child's education. Yes, wow. You know, I had, okay, a kilo, but counselors are saying 11th grade. So this is why we as parents have to get informed, because we do have counselors and we do have schools out there, unfortunately, telling our kids they cannot apply for scholarships until they become juniors or until they become seniors in high school. That is not true. Okay, not true. You need to begin that scholarship search now, today. Get busy. All right. Now, scholarship season, and I don't think I've really covered this before in other classes. So scholarship season is heavy in the fall. So when you look at the months of October to December, you have a lot of major scholarship deadlines due around that time. So that's what we call the heavy scholarship season, because that's where a lot of your scholarships are, they have deadlines. Now, that's not to say that there are not deadlines in other months, because there are. There are scholarships with deadlines all the way up to June, July. And then, you know, every month there are scholarships that has a deadline, every month of the year, because we have a huge scholarship database that has scholarships by each month. So you just have to be willing to put in the work. And that's why if we start the process early, it helps us to begin. It helps us to have a better chance, because the laws of, you think about probability, you increase your chances the earlier you start, especially when you have those scholarships you can apply to more than one time. Because the other reality is this, you guys, the landscape for scholarships is very competitive. Okay, it's very competitive. So you want to be able to not only put your best foot forth, but you want to be able to pursue those scholarships that allows you to apply multiple times. So that way you can have more chances at going for that money, because there's a lot of people vying for these dollars. There used to be a time where you had a lot more families who had money set aside to pay for their kids' education. But when the market turned and it changed the financial dynamics of many families. So many of those families can no longer pay for their kids to go to college. So they're in the pool with everybody else, which elevated the competitive landscape. Okay, so we're going to now start the process sooner, right, families? Yes, Coach T, we're going to start sooner. We're going to start now. Absolutely. All right, so I remember Sharon had asked, is it really late for seniors? I would say there are scholarships out there seniors, graduating seniors can apply for. The problem is time is not on your side, and the likelihood of you winning $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 scholarships, large amounts of dollars, is very low, because a lot of those deadlines have passed. Now, there are still a few out there, but again, the competitive landscape is so much higher. So you just have, it's all about how hard are you willing to work in these last few months? Are you going to be stressed? Absolutely. It's not too late. It's better to have something than to have nothing. So I believe in utilizing the time you have left. It's water under the bridge. What you didn't do, how can you maximize the time that's remaining? So that would be my advice to parents of graduating seniors. All right, my parents make too much money for me to apply. Again, we talked about that need versus merit. That means if they do, you know, you can't go after need-based scholarships. A full scholarship means I don't have to pay for anything. That is a myth, because a full scholarship is not the same at every school. You got to ask the question, what does this full scholarship mean? So if your child is awarded a full scholarship, As you're getting excited, like, yes, thank you. My child has a full scholarship. Okay, come on back down. Now let's ask the question. Okay, what does that mean? Can you explain what this includes? You know, is this tuition? Is this room and board? Is this meals? Does it include books, etc.? Ask those questions because every school is going to be different. You don't want any surprises when you go and register and check your child into college. You don't want any surprises, because that's where parents get caught up. They don't ask questions, or they don't understand the process. They don't understand the numbers. So the financial aid award letter comes, the final documents come, and it says you have a balance of $15,000 or $20,000 or $10,000, and you're unprepared. You don't even have that money. So make sure you ask questions. You have to qualify for a loan to get a scholarship. That is a big fat myth, you guys. Loans, you pay back. Scholarships, you don't. They are not the same. Their process of qualification is not the same. So they have nothing to do with one another. So that is a big fat myth. All right. So now when you hear people say these things, you can rebuke them. Tell them that's incorrect. That is not true. That is not true, because now we know better. We're going to do better. All right. So let's see where we are with time. All right, we're good. So let's go ahead and get into the 5 steps, you guys. Step number 1, we're going to brainstorm searchable topics, or what I like to call fundable topics. Yes, I did make up the word. That's what we do as engineers, but that's okay. It's all about what are the topics, the characteristics, the traits your child possesses that can yield money opportunities. Because see, it's all about money, you guys. It's all about money. It's all about opportunities. So we're going to brainstorm. Now, one of the things I advocate in the College for Free program is family involvement. It really takes a dream team to make the dream work. So this is one of the steps I really encourage you to make it a family affair. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. Make it a family affair, families. Bring in your family, extensive, close, everybody. Anybody who is invested in your child's future, bring them in. Why? Well, they may think of something that you don't think of about your child. So let me demonstrate what I'm talking about. When I say brainstorm searchable topics, searchable traits, characteristics, all those things are all synonymous here. Look at your child and see, who are they? What are the things that make them unique and awesome as they are? So if I was to go back many, many, many years ago and look at myself when I was in high school, I would have written down things like this. I'm tall because I'm 6 feet. So I would have wrote down tall. I would have wrote down I wear glasses or contacts. I have my contacts on. So I would have wrote that down. I would have wrote down the fact that I was flat-footed. I would have wrote down that I was a first generation college student because I was the first person in my family to go to college. I would have wrote down heavily involved in the community because I did a lot of community activities as well as extracurricular activities. So I would have wrote down involved in leadership opportunities. I was an athlete. So I would have wrote down athlete as a trait. I would have wrote down love to travel or have traveled to many states. At that time, I probably had traveled to at least 20 of the 50 states. Well, 51, what we got? See, look. Okay, geography is not my thing, but I would have wrote that down. You know, y'all get my point. Let me see, what else? I can't think, but you guys get the point. So you want to write down all those things because guess what? There's a scholarship for everything. A scholarship for everything. You heard me say flat-footed? Yes, there are scholarships for students who are flat-footed. If your child is left-handed, there are scholarships for left-handed students. Now, this is also the place where I strongly encourage parents and our students. I want you to put everything, and don't be ashamed to put everything about you. For example, I had a client, one of my students, she has a learning disability. Now, the good thing is she's been able to overcome it and not let it define her, but it's a documented learning disability. There are scholarships for students with learning disabilities. So I told her she needed to capitalize on that, maximize the fact that that is part of who she is. It doesn't have to define you. Right now, we're talking about money. How can we get money? So learning disabilities, certain health challenges. You know, there was a scholarship we posted the other week for students who had a certain blood disease. If they battled cancer, or if they had a family member, or if you are a cancer survivor, there are scholarships for that. There are scholarships for students who have parents who are incarcerated, who may have lost one of their parents in the line of duty. Literally, there are scholarships for everything. Now, with that, there are also scholarships even tied to hobbies or things you just may be interested in. So like now, there's a huge debate about, you know, gun violence. I've seen scholarships for students who create like a video, a 3 to 5 minute video campaign about gun violence. You could win like $5,000, or creating a video around safe driving, or no texting and driving campaigns. There are so many what I call creative scholarships out there now that didn't exist before. So it has nothing to do with how much money you make. It's just based on what's happening in the world around us, and they are attaching dollars to it. There are other ways to look at scholarships. So if your child likes coding, or your child likes gaming, your child likes to create apps, competitions are another way to get money for college. There are gaming competitions. You may be able to have your child code and create something. There is a scholarship, I'm trying to remember details, people who like to draw or graphics, they had to create, I think it was, I've seen one for greeting cards, I've seen one like ad designs or something, and there's a lot of money for these opportunities. So I'm just giving you, oh, excuse me, I'm just giving you just several of countless avenues you can really pursue when it comes to looking at, hey, how can I find funds for my child? So we got to get creative. We got to be willing to think outside the box, you guys. So make it a family affair and brainstorm these topics, write them down. So that's step number one. So step number two, you want to create a scholarship portfolio, or if you want to get another term, their college resume. Colleges, when they recruit, they are basically assessing what has your child done from 9th grade to 11th grade year. They're looking for patterns. They're looking for certain behaviors. They're looking for certain characteristics. So you want to start capturing what your child is doing. Now, I believe in creating one at each level. You should do one for elementary school, you should do one for middle school, and you should do one for high school, because there may be opportunities to share the middle and the elementary school activities as well. Why is this important? Because colleges and scholarship organizations, they're all looking for the same type of student. You know, students who demonstrate strong leadership characteristics, students who are selfless. They are concerned about investing in others. When you create a portfolio, you're keeping track of your child's accolades, their awards, the things that they've been involved in, the positions they've held in organizations. They were not just bench warmers. You're collecting all this information so that you have it at your disposal to share when called upon. Again, the time to be ready is not the time to get ready. There are some scholarships, like the Coca-Cola Scholars, that goes into greater detail when they are requesting this information. They will ask for extracurricular activities, but how long were you involved in it? What roles did you hold? What year did you hold those positions? What all did you do? Things like that. If you already have it defined and captured in a portfolio, then it makes the process that much easier to complete. And it also helps you to remember what you've done. Because if you were actively involved, like I was as a child, waiting until your child become a senior or junior and trying to think back 4 and 5 years, you're going to miss something. So you want to keep track of that. That's why I say get a college binder. That way you can put everything in there. You also want to have this created because some scholarships give you the opportunity to upload supplemental material, supplemental information. And this will be a great chance, a great opportunity to further market your child and highlight all of their accomplishments by uploading it. So this is something you can do. Now, here's a bonus I'll give you. We're in a digital age. So having things available and searchable on the internet is always a great tool or great to have. So one of the tools I have my clients use is LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn is only for students who are 14 years of age and older, which basically goes into our high school students. It's a great way to get them started in building their portfolio because it's all about college and career readiness. So LinkedIn is a great tool to demonstrate that. So when you can just include a link to their LinkedIn profile because everything else is there, that helps them shine in a different light than other kids will be shining because they don't know that. So that was a bonus, you guys. Make use of it. It's all about competition. I'm telling you, this game is all about positioning, okay? So that's step number 2. All right. I hope y'all not overwhelmed. Y'all good? How y'all doing? All right, awesome. So step number 3, we're going to change screens here because what we're about to do is search the internet and scholarship sites. So if you have the ebook, I've given you a list of scholarship sites to start with, but please understand that is not an end all be all because there's so many resources out there. Once you click on one, it's going to lead you to about 50 others. But I'm going to show you how you can do this. So let me all right, let's go to the internet here. All right, you guys. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take that list I had you create, those, and I called them searchable topics. That's why they were called searchable topics, because guess what? We are about to search the internet for them. Okay, wrong window. Had everything lined up. Okay. Now, you're going to have to exercise some patience with this process, but this is one of the ways you're going to search for scholarships. Yes, there are scholarship databases you can utilize. I'm going to demonstrate some for you, but you do your own search. Think about the number of scholarships out there are so many. It's really hard for one site to compile every potential scholarship out there. And when you think about private funds, there's so many different places popping up who are creating foundations and offering scholarships. They may not be listed there. So you are going to have to utilize the good old Google search. So here's how you can search Google for scholarships. All right, so going back to some of the things I said about myself. I said tall. Let's go with that one. Scholarship for tall females, because I'm a female. We forgot that category. I'm a female, and I knew I was majoring in engineering, so I could have did female, and I could do STEM or engineering as another topic that I could use. But scholarships for tall females, and you see here, somebody have already searched for scholarships for tall Black females. So you can use any of those, but we're going to go with scholarships for tall females. And I'm going to put in 2018 because that's the year we're in. So I want to bring in the results that has 2018 in it. Why? Well, remember, once it's on the web, it's there. So to minimize the amount of junk I'm going to get from 2017, 2016, because there may be some tall scholarships that were created and they're no longer viable now. They may have, stopped giving away that scholarship, but the information is still on the web. So I want to refine my search to 2018, and we just hit enter. So I got 4.3 million results. It's a lot of results, okay? So it's pulling in many different things. So, if you know anything about Google searches, the first set of results are going to be ads. Scholarship Owl is a scholarship search database. So we're going to click on I clicked on the first one, and hopefully it doesn't take forever to open. But scholarships for tall students, and here. So here you're going to see them basically advertising who they are. So you are going to see this. Some of these sites, you have to create an account in order for you to get to the results. So Scholarship Owl is one of those sites. And they also give away a scholarship themselves that you can compete for just by registering. So we're going to back out of that one because we're not going to go into create an account. So we're going to go down to the first one here, Scholarship Awards for Tall Students. This is under collegescholarships.org. So if you're over 5'11" and you're a woman, you are considered tall. So here we see Tall Clubs International. I don't know if they existed when I was coming through, but there's a club for tall students. So Tall Clubs International, they do have a scholarship, and you have to be part of the chapters and so forth. So we can click on the link that takes us to the organization to see where the chapters are and find out what their process is. But here they do outline how to apply, what they're looking for. So you see copy of official high school transcript, their college entrance exam, so SAT or SAT score, letter of recommendation from an academic source, and then one from a non-academic source, one-page essay, a photo, and then a release authorization. So a release authorization is telling you they are more than likely going to put them in some type of newspaper, magazine, and probably on their website. So that's what you are going to do. All right, so you'll just follow it, and they even give you some do's and don'ts. I highly encourage you to read that. All right, let's see, we have a question. Do you recommend registering for, is it a lot of junk mail? So I do recommend you registering for some of these scholarship sites. I wouldn't necessarily register for all of them because some of them, they'll filter the same type of scholarships. And also with them, some of them will send scholarships that doesn't align with the portfolio you created. So that's the other reason why you also have to do your own search, because there could be a glitch or something in their database where it will pull other scholarships you really cannot apply for. And that leads me to believe that if that's happening, then there are scholarships you could apply for that you could be missing. So that's why you got to have a combination of the two. But I'll say at least the ones I give you as credible sites, that is a way to do that. Now, what I will say is if there's a scholarship, because remember I said there are some unscrupulous people out here. There are some websites who poses as a credible site and is not. And if they ask you for money, that's one sure sign to stay away from this site. Do not pay to be part of a site to get scholarships, okay? Nobody can guarantee you scholarships. So if they say they'll guarantee you, if you pay $39, they'll guarantee you X amount of scholarships, don't do it. That is a scam. There are a lot of scholarship scams out here. So I would stay away from anything that asks you for money. They should not be asking you for any private information, social security numbers, all those types of things. So be mindful of that. All they need is your child's name, state, you know, they may ask school, but grades, all those types of things, activities, because they're trying to see what scholarships they would apply to, that they would qualify for. So yeah, you just have to be mindful. Just kind of check out the site, maybe do a Google search to get some reviews and proceed from there. Because again, there's a lot of stuff out here. Okay. So as we scroll through this, you know, you'll see all kinds of additional scholarships opportunities that may be out there. So I know WeirdScholarships.net, they do post some pretty interesting scholarships, because there are some weird scholarships out there. Scholarships.com, College Express. So I just say check them out. So that's one way to do it, you know. So we could just change it. We could do scholarships for, I always like to do scholarships for learning disabilities, 2018. I like to show people that there are scholarships for students who have learning disabilities. There are a lot of scholarships out there for that. So again, there's literally categories. I mean, there's literally money for everything. Okay. So that's how you use Google. Now let's look at CapEx. Is a scholarship site that I always recommend. It's a good one. So CapEx, you have to create an account with them, but they are, this is a credible site as well. I don't know, it's taken a little while to come up, but it is one of the sites I definitely would say you can trust. You can trust it as a viable site. And they also have other helpful information that they provide on their site. So this would be one I would say create an account with, and they will send scholarships to your inbox or your child's inbox as well for them to apply for. So another site, one of our partners we use for our back to school rally is Raise Me. So Raise Me is a very interesting platform. They take the approach of crowdsourcing, where students can earn money doing the things they already do. So you're probably thinking, what do you mean doing things they already do? Well, these are things they should already be doing to get them college and career ready. And as a result, they get rewarded for it. And the money is rewarded in the form of a scholarship with partner schools who are members of Raise.me. And they have some really good schools on there. And they're constantly adding schools all the time. So I know I saw Georgia Tech on there, and I saw a host of other schools. But you will create an account with Raise Me. Now, Raise Me, unfortunately, works best for students who start the process early. So ninth graders, this is great if your child is in the ninth grade, or they have at least a couple of years to utilize the service, because it is, again, like crowdsourcing. So These are some of the things I'm talking about when I say they get rewarded based on the things they should already be doing. Attending a college fair. If they attend a college fair, they can get an award of $500 to $2,500. There are 205 colleges offering that money. You have, attend a summer program. Like on our College for Free page, we were posting links for summer programs that has financial aid attached to it. If they attend a summer program, they can earn $1,000 to $4,500. There's 112 schools offering that opportunity. Attend an off-campus event, complete the FAFSA. That's something you got to do anyway if you want your child to get any money from the institution. You can get up to $4,000, and the list goes on and on. So this is just a sample of what they can earn money for, and here are the ranges in terms of the dollar values. So I encourage you to definitely have your child create an account and utilize this. And there are some schools have signed up. And when I say schools, I mean high schools, where they're getting their kids involved as well. And if you are a high school counselor or you know the high school counselor, I highly encourage you sharing it with them. They do have information on here that's available for them. Let me just click on colleges so you can, not trust my word, but see what are some of the schools they have as members. Because if they're a member, the money that your child earns that relates to that school, that's money you can apply to your child attending that college. How cool is that? So it's a really, really cool platform. I love me some Raise Me. So you see, I told you Georgia Tech, you have Agnes Scott, and it's picking up school, because I'm in Georgia, so it's picking up schools that's within our surrounding area. Clemson, University of Alabama at Birmingham, and the list goes on and on. So there are opportunities out here, you guys. You have to strategically put a plan together and take advantage of all different avenues. So that's going to lead me to your other source. So Scholarships 360 is another credible source, but a good place to really, really get their scholarships is on Twitter. Social media, you guys, is a viable source for finding scholarships. I tell our students all the time, you guys are always on social media. How about you use it for good? Use it for good and find scholarships. And I highlight Scholarship 360 because they are constantly tweeting out scholarships all the time. And the link they tweet out takes you to that scholarship, so you can see, do we qualify? And then you can proceed from there. So I encourage you to definitely get a Twitter account. They post on other social media platforms, Facebook. Twitter is just so much easier to follow. And of course, once you start following them, Twitter will give you suggestions of other sites and other people to follow. And then you'll see other organizations or people who's following them, which gives you ideas of other accounts to follow, which opens the door to other scholarships that's being posted. And a lot of these private foundations who have money, who have scholarships, they tweet them out on Twitter as well. So I highly suggest you add Twitter, social media to your plan as well. Another source is utilizing our device, our cell phones, apps. So one of the apps, now this is an app that has a charge, but it's a credible app, okay? The Scholly app. For those who are not familiar, I'll type it, SCHOLLY. The Scholly app. Very minimum cost, but it allows you to get scholarships right to your phone. Right to your phone. I think they were on Shark Tank. Talking about Think Tank. I think they were on Shark Tank, and they have been able to connect students to scholarships over the years. And also in the app, the scholarships your student applies to, it actually keeps track of it and shows the value and all those things. So it's really a cool app. Another app to check out is Minorities to majorities. Now, this is a free app. You cannot apply for the scholarships from there, but what it does is it links different categories of scholarships. So scholarships for LGBTQ, scholarships for women, scholarships for STEM, scholarship for Asian Pacific students, scholarships for Indian, and the list goes on and on. So it at least gives you, you can at least see, pick out the different categories that applies to you and get those scholarships as well. And it'll give you the link and I think a synopsis and maybe even the qualifications. And you can click from there, which will take you to the website. So it's another viable source. So these are all of the different sources of where you can go to get connected to scholarships. Okay. Any questions, comments? Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad it's helping you. Let's see. You know what? Here's a question. Would I recommend reapplying to scholarships while they are still open to increase the likelihood of you getting the scholarship? The answer to that is a no. No, no, no. Some scholarships will even state in there, if you apply more than once, it will basically make your original application null and void. Following instructions on scholarships is paramount. When you do not follow instructions, that is a surefire way for your application to get redlined. Redline means it's thrown in the trash. It's not even considered. You want to make sure you only do what the scholarship application asks you to do. Do not give them more than what they ask for. If they say 300 words, do not give them 301 words. That will disqualify your submission. So make sure you only give them what they ask for. You're not going to apply more than one time to increase your odds. That's not how it works. This is not a contest. Okay? So don't do that. Let's see, where can I find workshops that assist with writing the right kind of essays? What I mean by that is I've heard that schools don't want the race card essay, poor and destitute, etc. Okay, so essay writing. Schools want to hear your story. So I don't know if I would agree and say they don't want to hear the race card, poor and destitute. It's all about how you tell the story. That's what they want. They want to know about your life, your child's life, who they are, but it's all about how you tell the story. So that's really what it is. Writing of the essay is very, 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 very important. I can't stress that enough. The essay can make or break your submission. You can have top grades and all those things, but if you have poor writing, it will basically negate all your other accomplishments. And the reason a lot of emphasis is being placed on the essay writing is because of the state of where we're at. Communication is the lost art of this generation. They don't know how to articulate, they don't know how to communicate, they don't know how to write. So for that reason, schools and scholarship organizations are placing more weight on the writing as well as jobs, because when it comes to them doing internships and getting hired for a job, companies are now including a communication piece as part of the interviewing process, because communication is one of those skills many of our students are lacking. So that's really what it is, how to tell the story and how to tell the story the right way. Now, where can I find workshops? I know I have a video on the College for Free page, because in our with our back to school rally last year, we did a segment on writing winning essays. So it's a great start. I know I talk about it in the book, in my book, and I have some writing, I have some practice writing sessions in there. But if you want to get personalized writing sessions, I'm sure there are places who offer them. Only time I do writing critiques is when I have clients who do the scholarship and application strategy session. With that, I do writing critiques. I also have a tutoring partner who does essays, critiques as well. So we do have some people on our team who can do it. So that is something you could explore and look at as well. So that could be a source. Okay, so Krista, the organization Eagle 7 out in Gwinnett County, they offer some writing essays. Thanks, Krista, for sharing that. Okay. So no, that was a good question, because writing is very important. Writing is very important. So I highly, highly encourage students, if you know your child is not a good writer, then please make sure you get some writing help. Make sure it is, make sure anytime you submit anything for an application, it's always reviewed by multiple eyes and it's critiqued. Make sure that always happens. So I talked about that. Okay. So awesome. All right. So we can stop sharing this piece. Now, the next step in this process, okay, we're still on the screen. So let me go here then. Okay, so the next step in this process is for you to track it. Now, the tracking piece is so you can stay organized. And so you do not miss any important deadlines. Timing is everything, you guys. And one of the things you cannot expect to happen is, if you miss the deadline, can I still apply? No. The only way you can still apply is if they extend the deadline. So you want to make sure you do not miss the deadline. The scholarship tracking is basically a spreadsheet, and this is something we provide in some of our products, but it helps you to keep track of what scholarships you applied to, or scholarships you plan to apply to, what they're looking for, when the deadline is, when you applied, did you get awarded? If you did, how much? That way you can keep track of how much money you've accumulated. So that way you can measure, this is how much we've earned, this is how much money we need, and what the difference is. So being able to keep track of it is definitely something you want to be able to do. So make sure you create a scholarship tracker. And then step number 5 is go do the work. Apply for the scholarships. Okay? Apply for the scholarships. It's not going to just fall in your lap. You have to actually apply for the scholarships. Some are easier than others, but hey, how bad do you want it? Temporary sacrifice for long-term gain. Just imagine how your life would be so much easier if you didn't have to worry about your child leaving school because they cannot continue to, you can't continue to pay the bill. Yeah, it takes off a tremendous amount of stress when your child is in school for free and the bills are paid for and you don't have to worry about it. I promise you, I had one of my clients, we was talking, she called me the other day because our lovely scholar is about to graduate. And she was just thanking me again because she was reflecting back on this moment where we were when we were trying to get her into college and how stressful they were and what that process looked like and how grateful she is now. She's getting ready to graduate. and she's not going to have any debt. And we were able to help them with their other child as well. So it's definitely something you can do. You just got to be able, you got to be willing to put the work in for the process, you guys. All right, so remember, the time to get ready is not the time to be ready. You got to stay ready. And I still ain't corrected this slide, but we want you to stay ready. So after we wrap up this class, I would encourage you to write down what your next steps are going to be. You know, we've given you the tools, we've given you the information. You know what you've done and what you haven't done. So write down, what do I need to stop doing today? What do I need to start doing tomorrow? And then what type of help am I going to seek out to help me do this? Along with that, I encourage you to write out some goals. You know, goals need to be SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Write out some SMART goals around this process, post them on the refrigerator, do whatever you need to do to look at them every day, and take a step every day that works towards that goal. Get your kids involved, because I get parents who try to do this for their kids, and parents, you can't. They have to do this. This is their process. You will help them and coach them along the way, but they need to be involved in the process. So this, again, should be a family affair. So think about your answers to those questions and use those answers to guide what your next steps are. You have the ebook, so now you are at least armed to handle this branch of the tree that has all these different branches that makes up the entire college admissions process, because scholarships is just one part of it. It's not the end all be all. It helps, but it's just one part of it. All right. So if you want to learn more about the process, we do have other tools, products and services available for you. You can take advantage of the College for Free bundle, which is $30. That gives you the book and it gives you the workbook. You also can take advantage of our new targeted scholarship search service. So this is where we've had parents come to us and say, we know what it takes. We know all those things. We just don't have the luxury of time to make it happen. So we want to pay you to find the scholarships for us. That way, all we have to do is go and apply. So this is where we take all that research out of your hands and we do the work for you. So we're running a special where you could do one payment of $9.97 or two payments of $5.47, one payment each month. And we will give you a search. It's going to involve some coaching as well. So that way you'll know what to do and how to really maximize that process. So that's one of the specials we are offering as well. And there are other things we have. We do have some do-it-yourself tools, the College for Free box. We have the College for Free online class. So when I talked about the financial aid class, you can buy that, or you can buy the all 11 classes, and that is on sale. So all of that is available by going to the College for Free website. And if you're not sure, you can schedule a free 15-minute discovery call by going to the website as well, or you can just click on this link and you can schedule a time to see what best suits your family as well. So we're here to help you take this step a little further and to help you minimize your stress level, but maximize the impact of your results if you feel that is something you want to take advantage of. I also included the link at the top, and I'll put it again when we first started. Make sure you join our Facebook page. Like I stated, we post scholarships, we post internships, summer programs, and other helpful links on there. So that could be another source for you to identify those opportunities. Now, don't make us your only source, okay? Don't make us your only source, because it's impossible for us to post all of the opportunities that's available. We just try to give you some things to keep it going. But that's another source, another way for you to stay connected to us. So you all asked some great questions throughout the session, but what other questions can I answer for you? No other questions, or y'all typing or you're thinking about it? Okay, LinkedIn for 14-year-olds, share more. All right, so LinkedIn when LinkedIn first started, it was only for professionals. And they opened up their platform, it's probably been about 4 years or so ago, to allow students to join LinkedIn at the age of 14. Because what they have now are more colleges and universities, members of LinkedIn, scholarship organizations. Just like companies use LinkedIn for recruiting purposes, colleges and universities can do the same thing. So it's a tool for them to even recruit students or find qualified students who meet what they're looking for. So it's a great way for your child to market themselves, begin that marketing process of themselves as well. So that's why I encourage students to get themselves on there, because they become ahead of the game of most students their age. Now, of course, this is not Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and all that stuff. So, you're going to put a more professionally looking picture and all those type of content on there. But it's a great way to keep track of all their accolades and accomplishments as well. So I would definitely say check it out. Let's see, if I have student loans, can my child get student loans if need be? They can. Your child getting a student loan and you getting student loan, you have a student loan, there are two different things. They're looked at very differently. Where you having a student loan will come into play, where it could impact the decision-making processes if you're getting a parent loan. Now, parent loans, I don't never recommend, but there are families who do it. Parent loans, you have to start paying right away. And here's my motto. If you need a loan the first year, then you're going to need a loan years 2, 3, 4, and 5. It takes students on average 5 years to graduate from college. So if you're paying on a parent loan already, then that means that loan is going to get bigger each year, which means your payment is going to get bigger. So that's going to add on to what you're already paying for student loan. And that's when I said the whole family's in debt. That's what I mean, because families are getting parent loans. They're taking out equity out of their homes. So they're doing lines of credit. And then the student has a student loan as well. So everybody is in debt. And now the student is still living at home with the parent because they can't afford to live out on their own. So we got to, utilize some dollars and cents when we're making decisions, and make sure we're looking at every possible option, and we're not picking schools just because of the name of the school. That answer your question? Great question, by the way. Okay, other questions I can help you with. Get her aid, and they give me grants and Stafford loans. So no, the Stafford loan is not a parent loan. If it's a parent loan, it'll say plus. Parent loan is a plus loan. Stafford loans are the regular government loans. You have subsidized and you have unsubsidized loans. So subsidized loan, if it says subsidized, and that means the government's going to pay the interest while your child is in college. Unsubsidized means the interest is going to be accruing, and your child will have to pay that once they start paying back their student loan. So those are the student loans. The parent loan will say plus. It will say a plus loan. So that's the difference between the two. Yeah. So just because they offered the loan, it doesn't mean you have to take it. Please know that. You can decline it. It does not mean you have to take it. And you can try other schools, because depending on, you know, what your child brings to the table and their whole portfolio, and that's if they haven't started school, you know, one school may not give your child a free ride opportunity or give them as much money, where another school will, because all schools are not created equal when it comes to financial aid. So that is something definitely to understand. That's something I really talk about in our financial aid classes. So keep your options open. Keep your options open. I tell families like this: unless that school is paying everything, you should continue the search of exploring other schools and opportunities. Let's see, if I apply now for my 9th grader, when are the awards given? All right, so every scholarship is awarded based on what that organization says. Typically, the qualifying factor for the release of funds is the child is accepted and they have plans to attend a college, university in the fall, and that whatever that year is that they start college. So with that being said, if your child gets some money while they're in elementary school, middle school, 9th grade, 10th grade, the organization holds on to that money until your child can meet that obligation. So that money they keep in their account, excuse me, and they don't release it until your child get ready to start college. Yeah, because most organizations, most private funds, they're held in some type of endowment, and they just continue to accumulate interest until they release the funds. Yeah, that's what they do. Now, if you happen to have, because it depends on, again, there was a young man who did gaming competitions, and he was so great at it, he won a whole lot of money in gaming competitions. He won enough money to pay off his parents' house and still have money left to pay for school. So in those instances, I tell people, if they release the funds early, then you want to get with a financial advisor and put it in a vehicle that generates interest until you're ready to use it. So it depends. It depends on the type of scholarship it is. Yeah. So great questions. Any other questions? Okay, awesome. Well, you know what, you guys, it has been great sharing with you all this evening. And I really hope I have given you some information that is now going to empower you to go forward now feeling more comfortable, feeling more confident about at least this part of the college admissions process. So now you can go and get that money. Share with your friends, your family. You guys, let's help each other, okay? We need to have our kids graduating from college without any debt. So let's set them up for a bigger and brighter future. Knowledge truly is power, so let's share it. Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. I'm so glad it was helpful to you all. I thank you all for joining. I thank you for your questions as well. So share with us when you get some scholars, when you start getting scholarships. Let us know, hey, we won this scholarship, so we can celebrate with you, because it's definitely something worth celebrating. So remember, the time to be ready is not the time to get ready. You want to always, always stay ready. So this is your College for Free coach, Tamika Williamson, signing out in this edition of Finding Money for College. Thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Until next time, see you later.